Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, welcome back to the St. Louis City Boys. On this edition of Outside the City, we are here to recap the United States men's national team's performances and round up the Copa America tournament. Tonight, we have finally completed the group stage for all but one group. The final group is left to play tomorrow night. We are recording directly post USA and Uruguay. I know we all have some pretty strong feelings. My name is Ethan Thornton. I'm pleased to be joined by some of my best friends, Jacob Ratcliffe, Grayson Knight. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Go ahead, Grayson.
I was having a pretty decent day off from work, just enjoying my night, looking forward to this match. And yep, just ruined it for me. Definitely was excited for Outside the City to last so long. And the Copa America gets cut short by USA. Don't worry, guys. We'll have some episodes here for you. But yeah, USA is definitely giving us a lot to talk about still.
I share that sentiment, Grayson, all day. Looking forward to this game, seeing this stuff on social media. USA's got to win, getting hyped up, believing in the group, believing in Berhalter, coming home, watching the end of the Euros, getting excited. Got to see Diogo, whatever his last name is for Portugal, get those three epic PK saves, getting
Unbelievable.
getting me even more juiced up for this game and for I'd say like 60 minutes of the game tonight. I was biting my nails, sitting on the edge of my seat, and then just didn't didn't get any sort of result, didn't push through, took a loss, and I feel personally attacked.
I'm glad to know that I'm not the only U.S. men's national team feeling currently personally attacked by the performance that Gregg Berhalter and the lads put together tonight. The result on the evening, are we ready, gentlemen? Uruguay 1, USA nil. The US have officially been grouped from the Copa America. I know I enjoyed my about 13 hours of pointing and laughing at Mexico for doing the same. And the CONCACAF powerhouses are officially bounced.
Yeah, I think it's important that we talk about how we got to this point. We missed a sort of an episode with not being able to cover the Panama matchup that happened on Saturday, this past Saturday. Am I right, or was it Sunday? Nope, that seems way too soon because today's Monday. It was last week at some time. I forget. Regardless, we lost that fucking game too.
Yeah, I want to first of all, before we get into the Panama episode, eat my words. I think I used the words we can handle them on our day, and Panama did quite the opposite for us. They handled us apparently with ease. A pretty disappointing matchup. Jacob, would you like to take us through the lineup and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through this lineup really quickly, and then I want to hear from Grayson first on his take from this game. But um, Matt Turner between the sticks, left to right, we've got Anthony Robinson, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Joe Scally. Across the middle, we're in a 4-3-3. We've been in a 4-3-3. I hope to God we stay in a 4-3-3. Gio Reyna, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and then across the front, Christian Pulisic, Folarin Balogun, and Timothy Weah.
Yeah, this was an exciting game. I was definitely looking forward to it. We all knew going into this match that this was a must win for USA. Obviously, knowing that if we did lose or draw, we would have to get a result against the Copa America powerhouse that is Uruguay. So this match we knew was going to be important. And it shows how inexperienced and immature this team still is when we get a red card so early in such an important match. Of course, if you haven't seen, the red card goes to Tim Weah. Let's see, in the 18th minute.
Yeah, just way too early.
Yeah, it completely took the momentum out of USA's attack and completely flipped the match on its head. What'd you guys think about the foul itself?
I'll say that Panama did their job and kind of baited Tim Weah into playing physical. If you notice in the lead up to the actual push in the head, they're kind of just jockeying with one another, kind of what you would expect from the level of competition at an international tournament. And Tim Weah, the referee always catches a retaliation. Unfortunate that it happened. I don't think that Tim Weah is a violent or offensive player or aggressive. I actually really rate him. I think he's one of our best players. So for it to happen was very detrimental to the team, and he knows that. It did leave us in a really bad spot. Jacob, what did you think?
Now, it is easy to point fingers at Tim Weah and, blame him for the result of the match itself. The foul in its own is, like Grayson had pointed out, young and inexperienced. I put that blame a lot on the coaching staff. We play Panama a lot. We know that part of the style of South American soccer is to be more rough and to bait you into these game inside the game sort of challenges that, playing soccer in the United States, you're not taught to be a bruiser, you're taught to be technical, you're taught to follow tactics and play a beautiful brand of soccer and the result will come. As opposed to South American sides, all they care about is the result. And if that means a couple ankles get broken, a couple red cards get shown, it is what it is as long as the W is in the score column. And we fell right into the trap. I love you, Tim. I rate you as well, but you fell directly into Panama's trap and it put us in a tough spot. I think it's easy to say without that red card, we go on and win this game 2-1 the other way. But then again, I start to point fingers at the rest of the team. We do score fairly quickly after that, but then we weren't able to even down a man play a good enough brand of soccer that a golden generation of soccer is supposed to have. So I'm pointing fingers at everybody right now. Me and US soccer are clashing heads, and this is going to be a tough episode to talk about.
Another thing I just wanted to point out was last time we played Panama was a 5-1 win to the USA, with, of course, Captain America putting away a hat trick. That just goes to show how much we expected to come out of this group. I just want to point out this group was super winnable. When it got announced, of course, Uruguay are heavy favorites. But compared to Bolivia and Panama, of course, you'd see USA coming out of that group alive. But I also would say that this group is nowhere near as strong as a group would be in the World Cup. Just looking forward, we have so much work to do if we want to make a statement in 2 more years. Like, there's got to be so much improvement. I think that starts with the head coach. I mean, we have obviously lots of decisions to make going forward.
I don't even think it's a statement at this point that's expected for us to make in 2026. The expectation with every privilege that these players have been given since they have come up, like talking about Christian Pulisic when he's 17 years old. From that year point up until now, the amount of resources that have been thrown into these players in order to get them to that eventual World Cup winning caliber, we're not there yet, but that's the expectation in 2 years. And we got grouped in the fucking Copa America.
Terrible look for United States soccer. Terrible look for the team. Awful look for the coach. I really can't fathom a world in which he's the coach for the World Cup squad, perhaps going forward, but I just cannot foresee a world where that happens. He's been given a few chances to prove himself on the international stage. I don't think he's successfully done that. And this is, I hope, a wake up call to the Federation.
Yeah, real quickly, I'm going to get into the lineup from the Uruguay game, and then we can go in depth about the downfall from tonight. But um, almost the exact same starting 11 with Tim Weah having a red card. Obviously, he can't play. There were lots of shots of him up in a box in Arrowhead Stadium with his head down. I'm sure he is feeling a lot of the weight of this loss tonight. But Matt Turner in net, Joe Scally, Chris Richards, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson, Wes McKinley, Tyler Adams, Yunus Musa filling in center mid, Gio Reyna being pushed up to the wing, Balogun, Christian Pulisic.
I honestly really like his starting 11. So it hurts that much more to know that in the most part, I do like what Berhalter is putting together for the U.S. squad, but obviously there's a disconnect on what he is teaching the squad in terms of discipline and actually becoming a well-drilled machine. We're just nowhere near having that composure and that just ability to finish games off, especially in an intense match like this.
Yeah, this was a CONCACAF CONMEBOL thriller, no doubt. End-to-end stuff for 90 minutes, a lot of intense plays, a few injuries, which you can expect on the international stage like this. We saw Flo Balogun go out in the first half with Ricardo Pepi subbing in, which was not good for us. I don't think Balogun has been, I think, a critical point of our attack and its success so far. We also got to see Haji Wright and Josh Sargent make appearances tonight, which unfortunately they could not produce a goal. I think a 1-0 loss says a lot about this side and us not being able to find the back of the net in a must win. This was a must win match going into it. It wasn't a get a result match. It was must win for us to not score a goal. And under those circumstances, should it should say a lot. It says that we're not good enough. It says that we are not good enough. And going into the World Cup, we need to make improvements.
All respect needs to be given to Uruguay as a team. They are a really good soccer team. And also, if we're unable to score against Uruguay, say we find ourselves in a World Cup final against a team like the favorites every year, France, Germany, fucking maybe Belgium makes a run at it. Portugal's Argentina, the most recent World Cup winner. If we're unable to score against Uruguay, which is a very high caliber team, what we just hoping to tie through 120 minutes and then flip a coin for penalty kicks going forward. Um, with that being said, I do want to take us back, starting with a run of games. January 20th, 2024, USA 1-0 loss, Slovenia. CONCACAF Nations League semifinal, March 21, 3-1 victory over Jamaica. CONCACAF Nations League final, March 24, 2-0 victory over Mexico, who also just got bounced out of the tournament. Jamaica also bounced out of the tournament. Jump to June 8th against Colombia. 5-1 loss. Go to Brazil. Not go to Brazil, but the Brazil game. 1-1 draw with Brazil, which all of us were like, wow, we were able to draw Brazil. 2-0 win against Bolivia. 2-0 loss USA or against Panama. 1-0 loss against Uruguay. The next game we have scheduled is in September because we got bounced, and that's against Canada. Then we play New Zealand, and then in October we play Panama again. So like no real other than Panama, like no real actual competition going forward for the rest of this year. And this was a tournament in which we were supposed to like really make a statement about deserving being a top 10, top 15 rated team in the world. And right now we're looking like a top 30 at best.
Yeah, Uruguay came into this match ranked 14th in the world, US 11th, and I I would have been shocked to find out USA was a top 25 team in the world. They are not performing up to their level. I think they know that. And in my opinion, it's a systemic issue. I don't think Gregg Berhalter is the man for this job. We've seen how good the US team can perform under a manager like BJ Callahan. And so a match like this is just that much more frustrating.
Yeah, I do want to take a shift in the conversation because I know we do have a lot to talk about. Specifically about this topic, I want to bring it to the reffing. I want to talk about the reffing in this Copa America so far. Bringing it back to the match against Panama. That match saw two red cards given out, one to Tim Weah, the second to a player who bridges both sides of the podcast. Carascalia gets mentioned on City Boys wherever he goes because he's so annoying. He gets another red for his terrible tackle on Christian Pulisic at the end of the match. But I wanted to highlight that USA committed 6 fouls and received, I think, 2 yellow cards and 1 red card. Panama committed 19 fouls and received 3 yellow cards and 1 red card. So in that game, obviously, there's little difference in or yeah, little similarity in how the ref is treating the game for one team versus the other. And obviously, we knew that tonight there was going to be another similar action from the ref. And I mean, we knew what we were getting into. It was announced prior to the match that he was an inexperienced ref. I think one of the announcers said this was his 7th professional match, which is, to me, is absurd. Like, why is a professional ref this inexperienced getting such an important match in the Copa America of all places?
Yeah, this is not a game in which you earn your stripes as a referee. Especially the seventh match. I heard something about this only being his second professional career as a referee, going into a game of this magnitude where, like, he's from Peru. I'm sure he's watched a bunch of South American soccer. He knows the tactics that are going to take place with trying to slow the game down. Like, call it tactical fouls, if you will, but it's a rough brand of soccer, and the cards were few. The decision making was awful on the yellow card to Chris Richards, where he just lets play go anyways, even though he's pulling a card out of his pocket. I thought the broadcasters did a great job talking about how once you stop play and pull out a card, that's it. You can't let them take a quick free kick. You need to stand on business, blow your whistle, bring the ball back, and then restart play from there. You don't just let it go out for a goal kick. I mean, thank God Tim Ream's there to clear the ball off the line. Otherwise, who knows what decision the referee's going to make.
Yeah, I know there was a comment from Stuart Holden made that the refs really shouldn't have too much of an impact on the game. Let the players decide the match based on the skill of the game. But this ref was really letting the players just decide the match, not based on their skill, just by, whenever they want to play the ball, just let them play. You know, it was just a terrible, terrible game for this guy.
Incredibly tough watch. Seeing the card be in his hand while holding his arms out for the advantage was so frustrating. And hey, okay, I'll give him the slightest amount of credit. I've been a referee at the indoor soccer level, all right? And I've
Oh,
been a player.
close.
I've given it to the refs. I've received it as a ref plenty of times, all right? It's a high pressure job. There's no excuse. You know the rules. You're extremely well trained. You're well paid. Do your job. Do your job. Officiate the match. Just sad to watch. A really pathetic match, especially in conjunction with the Euros. I mean, there were two fantastic Euro matches on today, day and night. Day and night. The referees have complete control of the matches. They have the semi-automated offsides, which is, in my opinion, really benefited the quality of the games. Yeah, it's been frustrating. It's been a frustrating referee and tournament to participate in.
In conjunction, like you said, specifically pointing to the Belgium match today, where the referee was genuinely the most non-bias I've ever seen, and for lack of a better quote, letting the boys play. Like he could have blown his whistle 15, 20 more times than he did for like what would be ticky-tack fouls, but no, he was letting it go both ways. And I would have rather seen that sort of a match tonight in Copa America for the United States than the like I want to blow my whistle. I don't know if I should blow my whistle or blowing his whistle when he doesn't need to be blowing his whistle. It was tough, and I genuinely hope he never ever referees a USA game ever again.
And I think it also showed that it wasn't just on him. Obviously, there's some more idiots in the VAR room as well as we look to that goal that was ruled um, sides for Uruguay that should not have stood. He looked to be at least a foot offsides. It was just terrible. The camera angles are terrible. They had to show the graphic multiple times during the match to try and cover up their mistake, and it was horrific.
Changing the frame that they're using for the graphic each time as well.
Yeah, just an unserious feeling, just truly unprepared. That from the camera angle to the VAR replays, just poor. If this is a glimpse into what the US has to offer for an international tournament in the coming years, I am worried.
It's actually not like US soccer's issue. It is a CONMEBOL issue. It was CONMEBOL's referees, it was CONMEBOL's broadcasting team. Like it's not so much of what USA has to offer. It's gonna be night and difference, the quality coming from FIFA appointed referees and FIFA appointed broadcasting teams versus CONMEBOL, which I mean, I used the word conspiracy a couple of times on this channel, but dude, it really started to feel like there was a conspiracy against having USA win this game tonight.
I'd have to agree with you on that one, especially after that goal. It literally seemed like there was nothing we could do that would change the outcome of this game. We would score a goal, and I'm sure they'd find a way to edit our player 4 feet offside somehow.
And I swear to God, if I wake up tomorrow and I see CONMEBOL come out for like the fourth time this tournament already saying that VAR got it wrong, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, if they're gonna say VAR got it wrong, we should get a replay of the match. If it was
On
the
You
one
know,
only
night's
goal,
rest.
if it was the only goal of the match,
yeah, in a 1-0 match, it actually, Grayson, I think there is a halfway argument to be made about a replay.
Yeah.
Do I think it'll happen?
No.
no, of course not.
No.
But I like that idea, Grayson. I think that's great.
Whatever.
But okay, shifting the conversation again, we didn't score. Like, regardless, we didn't even, there wasn't even a moment in this game where we were winning. We were only tying or losing.
I will
Yeah, I
say we
believe
did look good. We had chances, especially early on in that first half. We looked like we were going to come out and steal this match from Uruguay, and then we let them battle their way back into it with the help of the referee. We just let this game escape from our grasp, but I thought we had it. We looked good. But yeah, we could not take, we needed to take more shots on goal or shots at all. In the first half, I felt like we were focused on building something, but we kept trying to make it too complicated. We never just took a shot. We were waiting for the perfect end to our creation, but we need to just take pop shots early and just test the keeper.
I do think our attack looked creative, especially tonight more than against Panama. 3 goals in the group stage for us is a terrible showing, especially given our attack and the production and quality in it. I did like seeing Gio Reyna out on the wing. I thought that he added another level of attack to, or I should say another level of quality to the attack. Um, Also good to see him go for 90 minutes. He's been injury prone in the past, so I was really happy to see that he has the health to make that happen. I don't think that Pepe provided too much off the bench, unfortunately. I don't think he had a very strong tournament. Other than that, in the attack, I thought Pulisic did look really good in the tournament. I thought Weston McKennie joined in the attack very well and was a good two-sided player. Our fullbacks did well to get into the attack as well, specifically Anthony Robinson. Although, yeah, still, I don't think we produced enough in this tournament. Certainly not enough to move forward.
This is not a hot take by any means, but I think. Sorry, someone is banging on something. I think as a team, we are a really quality side. There is quality in every single position, even Joe Scally technically being our RB2 with Serginho Dest being out. He's got quality as a defender. Like, I didn't feel like he was a liability at all on the field. And I don't even know who's to blame for not scoring goals. Is it the fact that Haji Wright literally only played about 8 minutes this tournament? Like, Haji Wright was on fire for his club team. I thought he deserved to see more minutes. I liked what I saw out of Ricardo Pepi. Yeah, he didn't score, but he was going for it. He was going for it against Bolivia. When he came on, he was going for it against Panama, even being a man down. Like, Christian Pulisic scored a world-class goal in the game against Bolivia, but then he was silent on the score sheet, not for lack of trying. I thought between him and Tyler Adams, he looked like our most passionate player, which is something we cover a lot over on the other side of this channel. There's a lot of fingers to be pointed, and that kind of makes it hard to like really judge whose fault it is because there's fault all over the place. Coaching, refereeing, players, uh, attitude. Yeah, I don't know. This feeling sucks though, and I'm tired of having my favorite soccer teams suck.
Hurts. It hurts bad. Jacob, for me, it's a mix between the coach and the players of who needs to hold accountability for our performances. I saw a good point that the players hold some responsibility for backing Berhalter and going out on they're the ones actually going out and performing whether or not they do well. So obviously I'm a big Gregg hater. I don't think he's done anything very good for this team. I think BJ Callahan is the obvious choice. Letting him go to Nashville would be a huge loss for the national team. But I, you know, I suppose that the player leadership needs to be called into action, called into accountability, and told that if their expectation is to perform on the world stage and at the World Cup here in the United States, then they need to step up wearing the USA soccer crest. We know that they're good players for their clubs, but this has not been good enough, and they need it's time. It is time to find it within the next 2 years.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe the right coach is not the coach who's going to make the players comfortable and safe. Maybe it's the coach who's going to push them, the coach who doesn't know them very well, who's going to try new things and try different strategies, who's going to push them to try and do something new. So hopefully USA's federation does make some changes. Obviously, they went through a massive coach search last time, and they ended up getting the same guy. So
And
let's get back to the drawing board.
that was back when there were a lot of big names available to be hired. Right now, there's not.
If you put Gregg Berhalter's performances objectively in a performance-based job in any other industry or field, in specifically the United States, he would have never even found his way back to the doorstep of U.S. soccer. He would have been dropped and probably forgotten about. So for him to still be in this position is why I'm so frustrated and why I have absolutely no sympathy, no empathy, and why I'm so frustrated that a team like this can go out and play without passion and aggression. And it seems like the desire to win for the badge and the country. It's so frustrating. Anyways, Jurgen Klopp, what you doing?
He's busy. He's busy. He's busy. Signing for St. Louis, baby. That's all I'm saying. We'll talk about that.
I
Talk
hope
about
not.
that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But any final notes on this Uruguay USA game?
Yeah, I mean, I look forward every time. I buy in so hard to the hype. The media team for US Soccer does such a great job at pumping me up and making me believe again. So, yes, I will be looking forward to the games later on this year that they play, and I'll be rooting for them hard to win. More than likely, Berhalter out. I don't see really any other route than that. He hasn't performed as a coach. Well, his team hasn't performed under him as a coach. So Berhalter out, go USA just right now. Uh, we're not going anywhere. So
Final thoughts are that I'm very disappointed. I really hope that the Federation understands that it's time for a change and that we make the necessary changes to be a team that we can be proud of rooting for in the World Cup.
Yeah, T-minus 2 years on the road to the World Cup. We've got a lot of work to do.
does anybody here want to claim now who their pick is to win the Copa America since USA is now going on summer vacation?
Hmm.
Argentina has looked good so far, although not, this isn't a dark horse, but I think a more sleeper team, Colombia. I think Colombia has the quality and the desire to do it this season.
Yeah, I would have to say I was excited for this Copa America for the US to make big statements because a lot of the major teams, I think, specifically like Brazil, are a bit weaker this year and don't look as dominant as they usually do. So I was super excited for USA to get their chance, to get their opportunity. But since we could not hold on, I would say Colombia is probably my favorite. They do look the most dominant, the most in form, the team that is just creating goals out of nothing at the moment. Um, but I'd also have to say Ecuador is uh another team that I'm rooting for here. So
This is going to be wild for me. Argentina and Brazil would be really easy picks, and I like a little bit of an underdog. And I know we just talked about how they've been a Copa powerhouse. And they also just beat us. So I would like to see the team that just beat us win the whole damn thing. So I'm going to pick Uruguay and I'm going to back Luis Suarez on his retirement tour with the national team and hope that Darwin Nunez performs better than he does for Liverpool. And yeah, I'm going to back Uruguay. Shout out Marcelo.
I mean, yeah, Fede Valverde, I forgot he was on that squad and he is world class.
Yeah, what an effort from him. He nearly challenged Matt Turner from 45 yards out. Man, how about Group B though? Venezuela and Ecuador advancing with Mexico and Jamaica being eliminated. How incredible. What a story. Imagine the pride for them. We have to considering our country got eliminated.
Also, a little bit of a St. Louis City shout out. Kyle Hebert is moving on with Canada to the second round, so interested to see how he will perform.
Big shout out to Hebes.
Eh, and in that last group, I thought I would mention that Costa Rica and Paraguay, they're battling for that last spot. Costa Rica really has a shot to make it as long as Brazil doesn't win their last match, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just that last group to battle it out before we move on to the knockout stages, which have been super exciting for the Euros so far. So I am excited to get to those. They're always a good time.
Yes, and it needs to be said, we will continue to cover Copa in outside the city. We just won't be covering all things United States anymore.
Hopefully we'll be covering the new manager search here soon.
All right. Well, you guys know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on all socials linked in the description. Follow us, drop a follow on Spotify, and don't forget to tell your mom you love her.
USA, USA.
Uruguay, Uruguay.